Hi, my name is John Stevenson, also known as the Guaranteed Retirement Guy. Today, I want to talk to you about the top annuity companies right now, the very best annuity companies that you should be looking for immediate, for deferred income, for fixed rates, for if you're looking for a SPIA or a DIA. We'll look at all of them in this video right now. So let's talk about deferred fixed index annuities with income riders first. Okay, we're going to dive into everything, but let's just start with this first because I wanted to share my screen and kind of show you what rates are doing right now, because right now rates are in a good spot. And because of that, they are positively affecting annuity payouts. Now, I'm going to also talk about the companies and why I think you should choose one over the other. Just depends on your individual circumstances. All right, so looking at my screen, what I did is I just brought up someone who is 60 years old, lives in Montana, has $500,000 to invest into an annuity, and they're married. So we have their spouse is 60 years old, just to make this very simple. And of course, the spouse's age does affect the income payout, especially if the spouse is a female and they are younger. So that will definitely affect it because, of course, the insurance company is on the hook for a much higher amount for a longer period of time, typically. So let's take a look at this. So if we're starting income at age 65, so they're both 65 years old, based off of $500,000, you'll see the highest income is $53,250. Okay, but this video is about the best annuity companies. So let's look at those. You notice that the top one is Corebridge Financial. And of course, I did not put any filter on the rating. So this is showing B++, A rated, A-. It's showing everything. Okay, so just really, it doesn't matter to me what you're looking for, but it does matter to me that you are working with the best company. So let's talk about those companies. All right, so Corebridge is a great company. They were formerly known as AIG. Now, some people hear of AIG and they hear about the bailout and they're like, oh, wait a second, did they almost go bust? Well, not the annuity side. So the annuity and life insurance side actually was very solvent, has always been solvent. And so we're looking at 100 years of really, really good payouts and also longevity and strength. Now, the parent company, they were the ones that were having problems. And of course, they were trying to get the federal government to let them take some money from the annuity side and life insurance side of one of their companies. Of course, the federal government would not allow them to do that because we're dealing with people's retirement funds. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're looking at the best company, and if AIG or what they're known now as Corebridge Financial, if they show up as the top payout, don't be afraid. They are an excellent, excellent choice for income, and they're A-rated. So a very, very good company and has a long history of solvency, of strength, and of course, income. All right, so the next one on the list, at least as of the time of this recording, Equitrust is B++, but that's only according to AM Best. So AM Best is, they're kind of holding back, but I think just looking at the positive momentum of Equitrust, I think they're probably going to be A-rated here in the next few years, probably sooner, just because Fitch just rated them an A this year, and also Standard & Poor's rated them an A as well. So when you have positive momentum and you have other ratings agencies putting high marks on an annuity company, it's very good news. And I do think, yes, at some point here in the near future, AM Best will probably rate them as an A. So Equitrust, of course, they're not as old. I want to say they've been around since the 60s. And so definitely not as old as Corebridge, but they are a very, very good company to work with. I've sold a lot of annuity policies with them. They're very strong and they're just getting stronger every single year. All right, the next one on the list is Nationwide. Well, believe it or not, they're not very old. They've actually only been around since the 80s. They're A+ rated though. How do you get A+ ratings? Well, you have to have a huge reserve, okay? And when you're looking at ratings, you might be thinking, all right, well, what is a B++ or even a B+ or even a C? How does that compare to an A-, an A, or an A+? Well, I'll tell you, anyone who is in the A category, even if they're an A-, is an excellent choice to work with. Really, the only difference is their history and their reserves. So reserves is the amount that an insurance company holds in reserve to meet their obligations. And a lot of these A rating companies, especially A+, they've got 100% reserves, which means if they're on the hook for $3 million in income to you, well, they got to have $3 million in reserves. Okay. So that's pretty powerful when you think about that compared to a bank account. Bank account, of course, the bank's only required to have 10% in reserve, and they're allowed to loan out the rest of it. And of course, with insurance products, when we're looking at annuities, the regulations are a lot stricter because we're dealing with people's retirements. Okay, so next one down the list is NASA. NASA is actually an excellent choice depending on your situation and what you're looking for. They're B++, but they've been around over 100 years. Okay, so you have longevity, you have a lot of strength there as well. Okay, SPIA. SPIA is actually fairly new on the scene. They're A-. The only reason why they're in the A rating status is because they have a $500 billion company backing them. They actually only started selling annuities back in 2022. So excellent choice to work with. I've sold a lot of policies with them as well. And of course, the payout is decent. And you can see all of these are annual payouts based off of, the different companies that are offering them. So excellent payouts. All of these are in the $50,000 plus year range for a joint payout. And of course, if it's a single payout, it's higher. Okay, so next on the list is Sentinel Security Life. They're B++. They're a good company as well. I have not sold as much with them, but there are circumstances where they are excellent, especially with their 12% premium bonus, which fluctuates. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 15. But when you get a premium bonus and you're trying to get out of a policy, maybe you're trying to replace something, and you've got, let's say, a 10% surrender charge, or maybe it's a 5%. Most of the people who reach out to me who want to replace their policy, they've had it for a few years. So usually the surrender charges are usually a little bit lower, more like 7, 6, 5%. And we'll find them something like this that will give them a premium bonus, because if you can get that covers the entire surrender charge. And so it makes you whole. So they're an excellent choice for that. All right, next on the list is Life Insurance Company of the Southwest, which is owned by National Life Group. National Life Group has actually been on the scene longer than all these companies. They have been selling annuities longer than anyone, and they are an A+ rated company, and they're 175 years old. They're definitely not the biggest company, but they have been around the block a long, long time. And they have a very, very strong history, strong solvency. And I've actually had the chance to go through their home office and meet the people that run the show. And they are a great company to work with. And I've sold a lot of policies with them as well. All right, F&G, Fidelity and Guarantee Life. Okay, don't confuse that with Fidelity. Completely different. Normally just known as F&G. They're a strong company. They've been around for a while as well. They're not 100 years old, but they are still in the A rating status. And they've actually very, very competitive in the immediate income. At least they were a few months ago. So they kind of fluctuate and move around. And then you got a few more. Global Atlantic, A rating company, 100 years old, really good company. You've got American Equity, A-. They're one of the best companies for long-term deferred annuities, like anywhere between like 10 to 20 years. They usually shine out above all the others. Then you got National Western. A lot of times they are more competitive for the immediate side. And then you got Midland National, which A+ rating, always great. I sell a ton of them. And then you've got Meritas. Meritas is very good to work with. And then you've got North American. North American is actually a sister company to Midland. So they're owned by Salmons Financial. They're both well over 100 years old, both very, very good companies to work with. So a lot of good choices. Now you'll notice what I did is I put this out at 5 years. Okay, because a lot of times people will reach out to me and they're like, well, John, I've got money and I'm not going to retire right now, but I would like to get some growth in an annuity that will give me more income later on because I want to take advantage of the roll-up rate. A roll-up rate is just simply a rate of return, a guaranteed rate of return for the purpose of taking income later. So it's very, very effective for getting a lot of income for your retirement. And you'll notice if I bring this down to immediate payouts, it'll change everything. And in fact, it'll change the companies that it'll recommend as well. Okay. So if we look at 60, so we got $500,000, same $500,000, but we need income right now, like next month. Then you'll notice it changes a little bit. Corebridge, of course, is on top for immediate right now. Not always. A few months ago, they weren't on the top for immediate, but right now they are. Gillico actually is a great company, and they were on top for immediate for a while. They were quite competitive. But Corebridge wants to be more competitive, and so they are beating everyone out, and they're a great company to work with. And you've got F&G, and you'll remember I was talking about how competitive they are for the immediate payouts. They are. And of course, Nassau's on top, Ameritas, and then here's Gillico, what I was talking about. They're pretty close. I mean, we're talking $30,900 per year versus $32,500. So not a huge difference, but they're definitely not the top payout, at least as of the recording of this video. Then you've got Sentinel Security, followed by Nationwide. Allianz, let's talk about Allianz. So Allianz is the largest annuity company in the world. Okay, they've got over $3 trillion in assets under management. So, and they've been around over 100 years as well. They're a very, very strong company. So for those of you who have well over $1 million who want to put it into one single policy, they're a great option. Okay. Now, it's not to say that you can't put $1 million into any of these and still have a good payout. It's just a lot of people who reach out to me and they have these high net worths and they want to make sure that their money's protected, but maybe they don't want to necessarily spread it out over 4 or 5 policies, which you absolutely can do. But a lot of times they want to put it into one super strong company and just leave it there and have the payout from that company. And if that's the case, then Allianz is an excellent choice because they're larger than all these companies by like 15 or 20 times. Okay, they are huge. And because of that, they have the financial strength to be able to pay out the income that you want. So if you've got $1 million or more and you want to stuff it into one policy, they're a great option for that. Then, of course, you see the rest of the companies, of course, the same ones I'm talking about. You'll notice that these are all towards the top, but some of them are just better payouts for immediate versus deferred. So, but it just really depends on you and what you're looking for. Another company I haven't talked about is Athene. Athene actually was one of the highest payouts last year, but not so much right now. But they're A+ rating, and they're a strong, strong company to work with. So sometimes they're on the top, sometimes they're not. It just depends on who's competitive at different times of the year. But excellent, excellent choice to work with as well. Protective Life Insurance Company, they're not usually on the top, but they're A+ rated as well. And then you've got down here Mass Mutual Ascend. They're A++, which just is massive when you're thinking about ratings. But the payout's not that great. And you don't really have to go with them. They're a very, very small company compared to Allianz, which will give you a lot more income. So definitely, if you want more income, stick with Allianz or even Nationwide. Both are very, very strong. So these are the top companies for payouts, for guaranteed income, for life. And of course, I'll show you real quick. This is joint. I'll just change it to, let's just say it's a single payout for a male. You notice that number will change to 36,000. Now F&G, they're the top payout for a single payout. Okay. They weren't the top for the joint, but they are for the single. And it's just because their withdrawal rate is higher than Corebridge. And that's why you notice that they're on the top, paying 36,000 out a year. So if you're a single guy and you want as much income for yourself as possible, you'll notice F&G is beating everyone. Okay. And they're an excellent choice. That's it for fixed index annuities with income riders, which are the most popular right now when people are looking for guaranteed income streams and they want the highest amount available. Okay. So let's switch gears. Let's talk about the top annuity payouts for SPIAs and DIAs. Okay. And after that, we'll talk about MYGAs, which are fixed annuities. So if we go in here, and again, I'm talking top companies here, top companies to work with. Let's go to the SPIA calculator. And we'll just keep everything the same, $500,000. We'll do it as a single life for now. And again, same numbers, and we'll just do immediate income. Now with a SPIA, if you're familiar with a SPIA, you're just giving up complete control of your money. Okay, this complete control of your money is you actually have control when you're in a fixed index annuity. With a SPIA or a DIA, you do not. You trade that money, you have that guaranteed payout for either single life, joint life, or if you want for a certain period, 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years, you absolutely can get that. So it just depends on what you're looking for. So you notice the monthly income though, it's not huge, right? It's $2,861. Okay, it's $2,861 times 12. It's $34,032 per year, single income. Okay, if you remember, the highest single income with F&G was $36,000 a year. So people ask, well, why would I even do this? Well, the only reason that you would do this is you just want to give up control of your money and you're taught to buy a SPIA and that's what you get. But you can see that if you want the highest lifetime payout, this is not the best choice. Now, if you're doing a joint and maybe you want that to continue to the spouse, or maybe you want it to continue to a child, okay, that's different. Absolutely can be a good choice for that. But you'll notice the top companies for this, and you'll notice the monthly payouts $2,861, and the monthly taxable. When you see that $1,073, it's just because I'm putting non-qualified funds in here. So the tax, the basis is $500,000. They know they're going to pay out a lot more than that basis, and so they're going to give you part of it tax-free because they're returning that basis, the original investment, back to you, and they're also returning some interest. So of course, your tax on the interest. So the top three: Penn Mutual, Athene, great company; Equitrust, good company, not A+, but still good company; Mass Mutual, A++. So again, if you're thinking, hey, I just want the strongest no matter what, A++. I mean, you can't beat that, right? $27.25 per month versus $28.61. So again, I sell Penn Mutual all the time. Great company. You can't go wrong by going with the highest payout. Okay. So I think you see all the rest of the companies that have decent payouts, but definitely not the highest. So ranging from what, $23.38 with Sagicor all the way up to Penn Mutual. But yeah, these companies are great. I mean, Global Atlantic, been around for 100 years. Prudential, we're all familiar with Prudential, great company. Mass Mutual, American National down here, they haven't been around as long, but they are still an older company that is A-rated and very, very strong. You got Lincoln National, Nationwide, Symetra, Midland, North American, all excellent choices. Mutual of Omaha. You really can't go wrong with any of these. At this point, you're just looking for the highest payout. Okay. So let's go back to the input. I'm just curious now. We'll just say joint life. See if this changes anything around here. I'm not going to change the ages. So I'm just going to assume the spouses are the same age. And I'm going to assume this is still an immediate payout. So Penn Mutual, Athene, Equitrust. All right. So it's the same companies are on the top. I mean, you can see Midland and North American and Global Atlantic did rise closer to the top for a joint payout. But again, top one, still Penn Mutual. So $25.61, you're basically taking a $300 a month hit on that. All right. Well, let's see here. What if I want to do a certain period? I just want it, let's say 30 years. So it doesn't matter. Whether I'm married or not, I want a certain period for 30 years. And if I die, it goes to my spouse. And when my spouse dies, it goes to my beneficiaries, whoever that is. So let's take a look at that. Ooh, Athene. Athene is beating out Penn Mutual by quite a bit. $31.31 a month versus $26.19. Wow. Big deal there. Global Atlantic also now in the third place. Then you got Mass Mutual and so on. So great companies. You can't go wrong with any of these companies. I work with all of them, but it's good for you to see what the payouts are right now. All right, so let's go to the last, really what I want to look at is MYGAs, multi-year guaranteed annuities. And these are like CDs. They're the annuity world's version of the CD. But I like them more just because they are tax deferred, especially if you're putting non-qualified funds in with a CD, you're taxed every single year on the earnings. With an annuity, you're not. It's tax deferred. You get that gain, and you don't have to wait if you want to take money out earlier, you certainly can. But if you don't, you can let it sit to the end of the period and you don't have to pay any taxes. The other thing I like about annuities in general is they're protected from liens and creditors. So if you're looking for more safety from liens and creditors, put your money into an annuity versus a CD. Okay, so looking at my screen, you'll notice I'm just showing the top three of these periods, these multi-year guaranteed annuity periods, where they're guaranteeing these rates of return for this many years. So the top three for 2 years is these three. Not bad. They're all A-rated. A lot of times the top three is in the B range. So yeah, Exonic, you got Aspida, GBU Life, all ranging from 4.8 to 5.25. Now, you might be thinking, well, I want to take withdrawals each year. Well, this is the top one. You can't take withdrawals in the first year, but after that, you can take up to 10%. Aspida won't let you take withdrawals ever during the 2 years. And then, of course, GBU will allow you to take 10% anytime. So that's nice. And these are penalty-free withdrawals. All right, let's go to the 3 years. All right, let's shuffle it around a little bit, but still. Exonic is still beating everyone out, 5.45. Okay. Let's take a look at 4 years. Nassau is beating everyone. Okay. Now at a 4.95 guaranteed for 4 years. Okay. 5 years, Heartland National, sold a few policies with them. Great company. Paying 5.55. Not bad. Can't beat that. And they allow free withdrawal of interest only during that time. So if you want to just live off the interest and then roll it over into something else, you can. Okay, the 6-year EquiTrust. I've sold a ton of EquiTrust because they are usually really, really competitive, especially with the MYGAs. So you can see 5.25, interest only. And I do have a client right now who is living off the interest. He just takes systematic withdrawals and he just lives off the interest, and then he'll roll it over into something else at the end of it. The only thing you have to worry about on these is at the end of the period, if the interest rates are lower, then you're rolling it into a lower income stream, really. So if you're looking for highest guaranteed income payout, stick with a SPIA, DIA, or stick with a fixed index annuity with an income rider, because you're going to get a lot more income locked in for the rest of your life. Okay, 7 years. All right, Heartland is beating everyone out again at 5.65. Okay, 8 years, EquiTrust now is winning. They're the 5.35. The 9 years, Liberty Bankers at a 5.1. Not bad. But they don't allow any free withdrawals. Ooh, you might want to take some withdrawals, and maybe you want a little bit more freedom on that. So if you want that, then ClearSpring won't allow any withdrawals in the first year, but after that, they'll allow up to 10% after that. And then Oxford is even more lenient. They'll actually give you interest only in the first year and then 10% after that. So if you want the most flexible and most liquid MYGA, then it looks like Oxford is the top one for 9 years. Okay, 10 years. Wow. Heartland National, 5.7%. You can put that into that and lock it in for 10 years. Followed by EquiTrust, 5.45. And if you want to stick with an A-rated, then you can see Exonic is the best one for A rating status. And they're giving you a flat 5%. But of course, boy, that's quite a bit difference between the 5.7 and the 5. I mean, we're looking, guaranteed ending value of the 5.7 is $870,000 versus $814,000 with the Exonic. So you decide. I sell all of these, and it really just depends on your risk tolerance and what you feel comfortable with. But these are all great companies. I work with all of them, and I'd love to help you with them. Let's see, 20 years, Atlantic Coast. They're paying a step-up rate, 4.25%, guaranteed ending value of 1.149. That's not bad if you want to lock it up for 20 years. No free withdrawal at all for those 20 years. So keep that in mind. This is money you do not need. Maybe you're just thinking, you know what? I just want to throw this into something that's going to be a guaranteed return so I can leave it to my kids. Then this is perfect. You can throw it in here and never have to mess with it. And you can see in here, if I go into a calculation, I'm just curious looking at this, what it looks like over the years. Look at that. See how they started out? You're earning lower interest in the beginning, 3.5, but then it steps up. Okay. You got the 4%, 4.5, then you got the 5. Okay. So that's what they're talking about when they're saying a step up. Okay. And you can see total interest earned during that time, guaranteed, is $649,123, giving you a guaranteed ending balance of 1.149. So of course, that is something that has to stay in there, and it will be compounding during that time. Now, if you want to take that money out for any reason, here are the surrender charges: 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and it pretty much stays at 5% all the way to the end. So keep that in mind. So if I wanted to, at age 70, let's say I had this in for 10 years, okay, and it's worth $722,000, I'm actually only able to take out $686,000. Okay. So that's my surrender value. All right. So I hope this has really helped you in your search for the best annuity company. There's a lot of good annuity companies out there, and people ask, well, what is the best annuity company? Well, it all depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for income now? Are you looking for income in 2, 3 years, 5, 10, 15 years? Are you looking for joint income? Is it a single payout? All of those, whatever your answers are to those questions will determine which company is the best, because there are lots of best annuity companies. Some annuity companies are best for a single payout. Some are best for only a joint payout. Some are the best for a MYGA, a multi-year guaranteed annuity. And then you have some that are absolutely the best for a SPIA or a DIA contract. So it just depends on how you need the payout, how you need the growth. And if you're looking for someone who's in your corner, that's me. Okay, if you want to book a call, there is a link below this video and we can talk about all of your annuity needs and goals. Okay, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I will show you everything that's available. And it really does not matter to me which one you pick because I can sell all of them. And yes, they all pay me commissions. Some of them pay higher, some of them pay much lower commissions. But really, as a fiduciary, I have to show you everything. It's in your best interest, really in my best interest, to show you everything because it's important that you have someone that you can work with who's honest, who's transparent, and of course, I want referrals. So anyways, I hope that helps. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of a longer video, but I really wanted to dive in to the best annuity companies for different scenarios. And I want to make sure that you saw all of them. So I hope it was helpful. If it was, please like, please subscribe, please share. And if you have questions, comment. I would love to answer them. And of course, book a call. Check out that link below this video and it'll go straight to my calendar. So again, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in the next video.